Welcome everybody to the Out of Home Insider Show, a podcast like no other, hosted by the one and only Tim Rowe. Get ready to have some knowledge dropped on you and to be entertained, because nothing's more valuable than food for your brain. So sit back, relax, we're about to dive in as the best industry podcast is about to begin.
And I remember being like, oh, it had come up a couple times in the out of home happy hours and nobody had ever done anything. So it came up and I was like, that is a good idea. I just pulled up like GoDaddy or whatever it is. And I just typed in a couple of URLs and they were available. And so I created like a side message with like Kym and Andrea and was like, hey, by the way, these are available. And then in that side chat while the happy hour is going on, we were like out of home talent and just like bought it for like $1.99 a month. And that
what a deal. Okay, so we're chilling, we're talking on happy hour and we're like, hey, we should start a job listing site. Like, when was this?
But it wasn't like, let's start a job listing site. There were a few folks on the happy hour who had just gotten terminated, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were furloughed or they were getting close to being furloughed. Or I think some people were just like, this might be a good time to jump. And
I think it was August. It was summer because I was outside.
Okay.
And somebody kept saying like it'd be nice if we had like one place that we could find these things from. And that was kind of the conversation that kept coming up.
I think a lot of it too was that we felt like this was a very temporary downturn. Yeah. So there was going to be a lot of people who got let go temporarily. And we didn't want them to leave the industry. And then 6 months later, we're looking for talent and they've all left.
Sure. Right. So, they found new homes and now we have to train all new people. And yeah, that would be.
And there's a lot of like what I've noticed since we've even had this out, there's a lot of startups in the industry that might not have a big corporate site. So this is like perfect for them to kind of piggyback off of. And they might be looking for one or two people, but you know, that Tom Shea, I guess his name is, he called me right before our happy hour last week and said, I heard you're like the matchmaker of out of home and was asking me. I'm like, shit, that's what I am. But I guess that's
Andrea,
good.
There's no swearing on the show. You can't swear.
I can't be on the show then.
Oh, no. All right. So that's interesting.
Did I swear? Oh God. All right.
No, it's okay. The FCC is not going to.
Oh, okay. I'll be good.
They don't even know. They don't even know that I exist.
But anyway, he was just hiring somebody for New York, and I was like, he's like, I don't even know where to begin. A lot of people, and he goes, I found this site, and it was our site.
No kidding.
Know that
How did he find it? I'm so excited to hear that.
I don't know. He said, I found this site. He must have scrolled through our LinkedIn or something, and I'm like, that's ours. So that was a pretty cool story.
All right, so it goes from happy hour, and we're seeing our friends in the industry be displaced, and what can we do to help solve for that? What if we centralize a place for companies looking to hire and talent looking to get hired within the industry? So the idea comes to be in August. When did it like really start to materialize? Was it just that quick, Daione, that like we bought the URL and we built a website the next day, or like how'd you figure out like how to?
I think it was about October when we finally got the website figured out. We had a couple calls and like, all right, well now we've kind of got ourselves into this, so we have to actually do it.
There's people counting on us,
what does
right?
it look like? Yeah, exactly. So it's like, what does this look like? And then from there, we just kind of built a basic site that we figured would be a good launch point to at least, just put some jobs out there. So that was in October is really, I think, when we got the site up and running. And then we just got flooded with like emails and tags and people seeing it and involving us to put jobs on there.
And Kym, this doesn't involve Geopath or Carvertize, or Andrea, it doesn't involve Smart Outdoor. This is just something that y'all got together and said, like, this is helpful. Like, this would help people.
Yeah.
Help people in the industry. I think the three of us have a huge, net that we can cast out to a lot of people, and we know a lot of people. And even when I get jobs descriptions firsthand, I reach out to somebody that I know that's looking, and I kind of pass it along. Would you be interested in this? So it's kind of like we get that first look too. But I think
it's also like forces me to be a little more organized. Like I was getting phone calls from people saying, hey, I'm looking for a new job. Do you know anybody who's looking for this? Yeah. And then I would get a call from a client going, hey, I'm looking for someone and I couldn't, keep straight all of the different pieces just to give it one central hub where all of those people could meet each other. I mean, during a time where it's really hard for people to meet each other, right?
Sure.
Which is like, I think why the happy hour has been so great to have. It ended up being kind of a matchmaking happy hour. Even last week, people are like, oh, hey, I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. Let's get together. And,
yeah, that's been great. That's been great. It's more like intimate, you go to the conferences and you just it's overwhelming. There's so many people there and you don't get to see everybody. But I like this intimate group that we have. It's great.
Do we want to mention David Powell's help also? Or?
Saw what we were doing and he contacted me and he already had a site built out, which we could build upon, right? So we could add, make almost a social network for the industry where we, it's a directory, all things to out of home. So I've talked to so many people that are just looking for LED lights, who supplies them, all that kind of stuff. Sure. I know there's different directories out there, but I think if we consolidate it without content, for the most part, it'll be, a resource for the industry. I've heard that so many times. This is great what you guys are doing. We need more of this. And I said, what do you think? I took a survey even, and 98% said, yes, we need a directory for our industry.
Wow. So, right. And I think of what, Rob Rackley and Circle Graphics and POP Track. Yeah. Like there's a lot of folks who are making an effort to all right, how am I going to organize the things that I do into a really easy way? And then if there's one central place where all these things can tie in, that makes sense. So thinking about the timeline now, August, we've got this crazy idea, October, we finally get launched. David's got some of this framework built out. You can see it starting to come together. When was the first listing on the site? When was the first job posted?
What was that, Donna?
What was that? I would know. Let me go back. Looks like October 24th was the first email I got in.
Wow.
So I mean, it happened pretty quick once we got the site built. And I remember trying to build the site. I didn't have any jobs to list. So I remember trying to go to all these out of home companies and find their career pages. And I was like, this is a hassle for me, just to even find a couple listings to put on. Can't imagine, somebody who's needing to find work having to go through this. I mean, it was pretty exciting. Once we got just a couple things put out, a lot of people reached out to us, and that was really exciting to see.
Right,
and there's been a lot of traction, right, Daione?
Yeah, there has been. I haven't
looked at the site stats, but there's been a lot of visits.
Yeah, we have. I mean, it's crazy, even from the UK, not just.
Wow.
Yeah, so, it's international.
Mm-hmm.
We have jobs for Hivestack, I think, in Europe.
Yeah,
look on there. Which why not?
Cool.
If you can work from home anywhere,
sure.
And which is kind of the new normal for now. That's you can get any talent. They don't have to be in your backyard. You can get them worldwide.
It's funny. I'm teaching this semester at the college here in town, and that's my pitch to them is you're entering the most dynamic job market ever, which is scary in itself. However, it's the most exciting time because you have access to companies that you never would have, because you were never going to move to, Tuscaloosa. You were never going to move to Boston or move into the city. You can do those things now from anywhere in the world. What a great time. So what are the types of roles that you're seeing be posted? Is it a diverse mix? Is it buyers, planners, what's the mix of opportunities right now that you're seeing?
All of it. I see a lot of director of sales, and then I see a lot of buyers for sure, media buyers or account account managers. Mm-hmm. I've seen that, but
we have it kind of split between sales and agency, and we're seeing a lot of sales roles right now. So I think that's been, really exciting, but also, I just posted one for, a couple agencies looking for client managers as well. So we're seeing everything from, a coordinator position to director of sales and managers. So we're seeing everything in between.
Wow.
So it's kind of like a nice barometer on, it feels like the industry is really starting to head in a very good, positive direction, that people are trying to hire and get talent back into their teams, that we're past that, gray area of the pandemic and moving back to scaling back up to full operations, which is exciting.
Right, and not just seeing sales jobs, right? And there's never a shortage of sales jobs, but to see folks from the buy side as well hiring, that's a good indicator of there being demand, and that's to your point, Kym, a great barometer of where the industry
tech and data and programmatic and all of those things that come along.
There's been a lot of acquisitions during this time too. Companies buying up a lot of the independent billboard companies, and they're getting ready to, I've got 5 or 6 listings that we're going to post for Trailhead Media. He bought, I think it's up to 9 billboard companies in the Southeast. Wow. So he needs everything. He needs real estate, he needs sales, he needs account managers, but they're going to be a big player.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And it's so scrappy and loose. Like Daione has done so much work. I can't even imagine, like just figuring it out and, scraping LinkedIn and word of mouth. It's just kind of a fun little help the industry initiative.
Yeah. And that's like the coolest part, right? Is it didn't exist this time last year. It wasn't a thing. This time last year, we didn't, think that we would be all working from home a year later for at this point 10 months, right? So it's fun when you have an idea that it didn't exist and now it does exist, and now we're helping people to find their next home and out of home, and that's exciting. Has anybody gotten hired off the boards yet?
I know there's been some interviews, but I'm not sure. I know some of the job listings that were posted have been removed. So obviously they've hired, but I don't know if it was a direct result of our site, but can't hurt, right?
Hey, listen, right. If all it's doing is exposing the opportunities and creating conversations around those, then that's, a job well done in itself. Does it cost anything to list a job on there? Is it free? Like how are you supporting this?
It's just kind of our volunteer effort right now. I think if you want to list a job, tag or message one of us on LinkedIn, or you can send the link to out of home oohtalentlistings@gmail.com, and we can get it listed there. Yeah. And the email is also on the website. So you can find it there, which is oohtalent.com.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So we're just doing it to help out. People reach out to us anyway for jobs, and now we have a place to direct them. I'm like, oh, here, yes, go to this site.
Well, while I've got you all here, let's all make a prediction. It's still early enough in 2021. Don't worry, we're not going to go back and review this at the end of the year. But folks listening, they would probably love to hear some predictions. Kym, what's your prediction for 2021?
Predictions for 2021. I think it's going to be a kick butt year for out of home. I think that people have been not spending money the same way that they were, and that once vaccines take hold and people are able to go out, there's going to be a ton of travel. I think people are going to take like dream trips. There's going to be a ton of cinema. People are going to be at restaurants. People are going to be at bars. I don't think that's like an outrageous prediction, but I think it's going to really benefit us. And I think there's also going to be a bit of a backpedaling away from Zooms and online and TV. And there's going to be more of an appetite to be in person, which is also going to, I think, be a benefit for our channel.
Hallelujah. I saw yesterday, it's particularly relevant to Kym and I. We live in New Jersey and we're just right down the road from each other. But I think that like 80% of the Jersey Shore vacation rentals are already booked. It was some staggering number. Like, I had a great conversation with Rick Robinson a couple weeks back, and he mentioned on the Clubhouse a few weeks ago that like we own the word out, and the world is about to be reintroduced to being outside, and that's exciting. That's really exciting time.
I have a prediction for Andrea too. I think everyone's going to join a gym so we can fit back in our work clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can't wear sweatpants and hoodies and beanies to meetings.
Oh my God, you can't outwork a bad diet though. That's my problem. I work out, but I'm like drinking any. But at least I'm balancing it out. But I think the prediction too is everybody is looking for information, right? So where do you get it? Billboards, messaging. We spent so much time on social media. And I think our direct, once it's almost like the Wizard of Oz, when you see in color again, we get to go outside of our houses and we see new messaging, and there's going to be, like Kym said, those dream trips. Like, what have we learned? I learned how valuable friends and family are, and seeing people that we took for granted. I just can't wait to see people and spend time with them and travel. And I think that that's huge. I think there's going to be a lot of new networks that come out of this as well. Maybe where we haven't seen the attention before.
Okay,
maybe
all right. Let's stop there. Let's spit out on that. We don't have a supply shortage problem,
right?
What's the value of new networks coming online?
What is the value? I think that we've seen heavy up on TV and digital, right? So we can definitely, out of home is their best friend. So having that attention divert back to areas that, I read that 80% of the ads reach 20% of the audience. So it's oversaturated, and they need to diversify some of those revenues to new places, right? Where we get
and 75% of those are bought by Group M. So Group M, if you're listening, you should definitely buy more out of home, because we have plenty to sell you. Daione, what's your prediction?
I think we'll see a more integration with experiential. Like, we're so eager to leave the house. When we connect with brands, we want some sort of experience, some sort of story to come away from it. So I'll be excited to see kind of how everybody chooses to translate that and integrate it into the setting.
It's very cool. I was talking a couple of weeks back with Mr. Bob Johns at Bold Site, and obviously they have the American Dream Mall here in New Jersey and some other very cool locations. And they're seeing that a lot of the brands that are advertising there are taking advantage of creating that experience. So now it's about going to the mall. Right. Going to the mall is the experience, because Lego's doing an activation and has Lego men walking around and interactive screens and all sorts of cool stuff going on.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I think that's exciting. And just thinking, as somebody with a 7-year-old in the house who's about sick and tired of being locked up, and there's not a whole ton in the way of what to do. So I love the idea of brands adding in more experiential elements to things that maybe wouldn't have traditionally included experiential. Right. Awesome.
I think it's a great year.
Any parting thoughts? Out of home talent, oohtalent.com is the place to go if you've got an opportunity to list or you're looking for a new home. I want to ask this question. Here's a killer question. If I want to post my resume there, can other people see it? Like, will my boss see it, or could they see it?
So I think right now we're brainstorming ways to kind of create an anonymous post where you're able to post your, qualifications and what you're looking for. So that is coming soon. So stay tuned. Be checking the site.
And we hid yours, Tim. So one screen won't see it.
What's that?
We hid your resume, so one screen won't see it.
No, listen, things like the reason I asked you about the new networks coming online, like that's a core focus of ours at One Screen, is how do we tell better stories about the supply and make it easier to buy. So I think that we're all moving in the same direction. Everybody is adding their own piece of value to telling that story, and it's a big story to tell, right? We've got lots of different formats and media owners, and telling better stories is going to be, that's my prediction for 2021. We get really good at telling a really good, clean, crisp story about out of home. So ohtalent.com, you can check there for any listings. You can upload, you can stay in tune with what the opportunities are going inside the out of home industry. Ladies, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you
for having us.
See you next time. If you found this to be helpful, please share it with somebody else who could benefit. As always, smash the button over there. It says subscribe. Smash the subscribe button down there in the corner. That's the one. There we go. And we'll see you guys next time.
We got you flustered, don't we, Tim?
Yeah, listen, this is not easy.
Smash it, baby.
And